The one thing that's consistent about Star Trek is the fact that sooner or later someone's going to wind up in a relationship with someone else. Some relationships are good and some are definitely bad. But it is the bad ones, one in particular, that I want to talk about today.
Oh, Huda, I thought you were on leave.
And I thought we were supposed to be going together.
Oh, I can't leave her now when she needs me the most.
I had a feeling you would say something like that.
Of all the relationships in the Star Trek franchise that ever happened that just doesn't make any sense, it's Scotty and Uhura from Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Many people, when this video first dropped, when this movie first dropped, and they saw this scene, they're like, when did this happen? And who thought this would be a good one? These two were such a dynamic power couple that once this movie was over, you never heard anything more about it ever again. And when Star Trek VI came along, it's almost like it never happened. Oof, we made a mistake. We heard your audience. We won't do it again. Their relationship was never mentioned ever again. I guess I should never say never, because if any of the modern day Star Trek can pull it off, it would have to be Strange New Worlds, right? And while I am not saying that it is going to happen, there is one website out there that is supporting the idea and thinks that Strange New Worlds is the series that could pull it off. How's it going out there, everyone? W.F.S. here, and today we're going to talk about ScreenRant, my favorite website when it comes to the insane. What the hell is wrong with you people? Strange New Worlds Season 3 can set up the Star Trek movie romance that deserves better. Deserves better? No one wanted it. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, it was in Star Trek V. The audience was like, where the hell is this coming from? And then it was never mentioned again. But ScreenRant's out there going, gee, this would be a good idea for the next season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. You guys are not really thinking, or are you so desperate to bring every character over and unite them all together? My God, some of your supposed fan theories are really annoying and stupid, honestly. Kirk killed the whales in Star Trek IV. That's why they went extinct, because they pulled George and Gracie from the past to the future. That was the plot of the story. Anyway, then we have Kirk didn't Kirk didn't kill Khan and Spacey because of a romantic relationship or because he knew Khan's genetic blood relative. ScreenRant, you guys really need some help. I'm serious. This is stupid. Uhura and Scotty are not a good item. They're on different parts of these ships. Their hobbies are completely different. Now, Strange New Worlds is introducing us to a younger version of a Scotty, an Ensign Scotty, who's going to be aboard the Enterprise, but whether or not he stays or is just coming and going, that's a different story entirely. But for right now, we got to deal with this ridiculous idea. Now, at least to me, it's ridiculous. But hey, there's a lot of Star Trek fans out there who absolutely may love the idea of these two being a couple. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them at all. In fact, as I said before, I think it's just plain stupid. All right, one thing before I get into the article a little bit here, I want to make a correction. It wasn't Ensign Scott, it was Lieutenant Scott that appeared at the end of Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. But having said that, it still doesn't change the whole idea of this thing and how ridiculous I personally think it is. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I just wanted to get you some tidbits on it and just show you how ridiculous to me this sounds. They want you to set up the idea of them meeting each other on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and then slowly over the years, it blossomed into something. Sorry, throughout the series, the original, throughout the original series and throughout the movies, there has never been any indication of them having any romantic desires toward each other. Scotty and Uhura's flirtation in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, didn't manifest into anything more in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. It didn't manifest because, number one, no one cared about that relationship. It didn't make sense, and for the most part, it seems like it just didn't work. It couldn't work. And not to mention the fact that the final movie, Star Trek VI, no one really gave a care again about their relationship. They wanted to see a final adventure of the crew of the Enterprise. That's it. Star Trek VI was the final thing for the original cast and crew of the Enterprise. And a relationship in Star Trek V between Scotty and Uhura, it just didn't make sense. The idea of the two of them now in Strange New Worlds maybe getting a little bit of a kindling going and then it's stretching out 35 years later just sounds like such a waste of time. And I honestly think they should leave it alone, but this is Strange New Worlds we're talking about here, people. Strange New Worlds has a habit of taking things that don't belong and putting it in their timeline and saying, it belongs. Deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I think this whole idea is very dumb. And again, evidence of it being rejected was Star Trek V and the fact that nothing followed afterwards. Here's the one thing that I truly do love about ScreenRant and how they're trying to push this idea. Uhura has yet to have a canonical romance. Since when does Strange New Worlds do anything or show any indication that it cares really about the canon of Star Trek? If it did, half the characters that are in this show would be in this show. They would have original characters and original ideas rather than trying to steal from the original, pull them backwards in time and say, oh, hey, this is how they did things in the past. If they truly did care about these characters and their canonical history, then they would leave things like Scotty and Uhura alone because, again, Star Trek V, it was rejected. It would be rejected here. My own personal opinion, and each one of you are entitled to your own, and I would love to hear them. So please, drop those comments below and let me know. Tell me what you think about ScreenRant's little idea about bringing Scotty and Uhura together. And until the next time, my friends, God bless.